You're listening to Four Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast.
Today is Friday, February 6th. I'm Johnny Connor. Thanks for listening to Four Things to Know. Let's get to our top story. Small businesses in the Twin Cities are sounding the alarm. They say Operation Metro Surge has cost them millions of dollars in revenue, and now they're asking for your help. Adam Duxter heard from a group of business leaders today, and he has the update from Urban Growler in St. Paul.
The message that many of those community and business leaders shared was that right now the situation is dire and the time to act in support is now. Really, for the first time, we're getting an inside look at some of the financial impacts that Operation Metro Surge has had on the business community. We're told some businesses losing as much as $5,000 a day, in the city of Minneapolis losing millions of dollars a week. And today, those business and community leaders laid out a plan for the community to support local businesses over the course of this next week, urging people in our community of the Twin Cities to go and shop and eat over the course of the next 7 days. And business leaders say this, in some ways, is comparable to the business and financial impacts seen during the coronavirus pandemic. Only this time, they say there is no federal relief money coming on the way. They say every day that passes during Operation Metro Surge is another hit.
Many of these businesses don't have months. They have weeks. If they close, if these buildings sit empty, if this cultural corridor goes dark, it's not just bad for business. It's a devastating blow to the future of Minnesota. It means more people without work. It means more people without food and without community.
Number 2. Arrests were made at the University of Minnesota campus following an anti-ICE protest last night. Protesters showed up to make noise outside the hotel they believed ICE agents were staying in. You heard some of the noise there. The U of M says 11 were arrested for disorderly conduct and one person for property damage. The university said the arrests were made after officers gave 5 dispersal orders, and some people still refuse to leave. Border Czar Tom Homan says nearly 160 protesters have been arrested in the past month. The Minnesota Department of Corrections show there are fewer than 500 incarcerated people with ICE detainers in the entire state. And last month, the Department of Homeland Security claimed there were more than 1,300. The state has been pushing back on claims by the feds. The feds have said that prisons and jails are not honoring those detainers and instead are releasing non-citizens who have committed crimes. Wednesday, Homan said cooperation with jails was a factor in sending 700 federal agents out of the state of Minnesota. As we've seen throughout this operation, definitely mixed messaging coming from the state and the feds. And that brings us to your third thing to know today. WCCO got a first look inside a county jail that houses ICE detainees. This was our first look since Operation Metro Surge began. Crow Wing County Sheriff Eric Klang says the jail began accepting ICE detainees last November. They have between 30 to 50 there at one time, saying they come and go. He expects deputies to treat detainees with respect and wants them to have a positive experience inside the jail. Our Jen Mayerly asked about who the county is housing in its jail for ICE and if they have a criminal history.
Sometimes they have assaults or something like that on there that we'll get notified of just for classification purposes, so we know where to put them. But the majority of them, we don't know if they have anything or not.
Should you know who you're housing in your jail?
Yes, we should, and we do the best with the information that we have. They're not violent. They're very cooperative. They're very compliant.
You know, we keep hearing about the worst of the worst, that they're targeting the worst of the worst. And I'm wondering, do you have the worst of the worst here in your jail?
No, I wouldn't say that we have the worst of the worst in this facility. They talk about, who's the worst of the worst.
And you can see that full story on WCCO.com. The county also has 2 other agreements with ICE. The agreements allow deputies to serve an ICE warrant to someone already inside their jail. They can also assist ICE in the community. Number 4, a Senate hopeful from Florida has found himself behind bars in Ramsey County. He's accused of vandalism at the state capitol. Jake Lang is known for his support of white supremacy and his role in the January 6th insurrection for which he was pardoned. He took to social media to show himself kicking down an ICE sculpture that read, "Prosecute ICE." I told you about that sculpture yesterday. The sculpture was commissioned by a group representing veterans and military families. Lang was also behind a recent anti-immigration rally in downtown Minneapolis. He is facing criminal damage to property charges. Those are the 4 things to know today. Now let's check in on our weekend forecast.
Happy Friday, guys. 6 Weather meteorologist Adam Del Rosso checking in. We had that cold front move on through earlier for our Friday. That has dropped the temperatures, and we're going to continue to watch those temperatures fall as we head through this evening and into tonight. We dropped down into the single digits for our lows tonight, but thankfully the winds that have been breezy for most of our Friday, those will continue to calm down too as we head through this evening and into tonight. They do come back a little bit tomorrow, but they'll be out of the southeast, and so that's going to help to warm us up a little. We'll still be pretty seasonable in the mid-20s with a mix of clouds and sun before we warm right back up into the 30s for our day on Sunday.
And now, here's more to know.
Rent help may soon be on the way for families hurt by Operation Metro Surge. If you listened to the show yesterday, you heard some of the discussion at the Minneapolis City Council. But now the council has reached a decision. Council members voted to give $1 million of rental assistance to help families in Hennepin County. They say community members are too afraid to go to work. The $1 million would benefit 250 families, but council members say that's just a drop in the bucket. The city will work with the county to administer funding to families who've received an eviction notice. The proposal will head to Mayor Fry's desk for his signature. Meanwhile, Minneapolis Public Schools is extending online learning options for those impacted by ICE activity. The virtual learning option was supposed to end February 12th. Instead, it's been extended to April 6th. Minneapolis schools say they will monitor the situation and may return to in-person sooner than that. In that case, families would receive a notice. Some people in Anoka are flying high. Yesterday, we told you about the opening of a unique cannabis dispensary. What makes it different is that the Anoka Cannabis Company is the first city-owned dispensary in the country. WCCO went to the ribbon-cutting ceremony yesterday to learn more about what makes this dispensary different. The goal is to keep cannabis sales regulated, transparent, and community-focused. City leaders like Kevin Morelli with Anoka say they plan to use the revenue to help fund a wide range of local projects.
The money that the city will make can go to parks, river projects, social district expenses, possibly even reducing the levy.
The concept of city-run retail is actually familiar territory for Anoka. The city already runs municipal liquor stores and manages a seasonal social district for the summer and fall. Another focus of this project, leaders say, is education, especially since they say customers are navigating legal cannabis for the first time. If you're on the roads this weekend, listen up, especially if you're driving through the Twin Cities. Another road closure may impact you. Both directions of I-94 in St. Paul close at 10 o'clock tonight. The impact will be between Highway 61 and Highway 52. The interstate reopens Sunday evening. If you've been out and about today, you might have noticed people wearing red. That's because it's National Wear Red Day. It's a day to raise awareness about the #1 killer of women in the United States, cardiovascular disease. Nearly 45% of women ages 20 and older are living with some form of cardiovascular disease. That's according to the American Heart Association. As part of Go Red for Women Day, the American Heart Association is not only raising awareness, they're raising money. And for today only, your donation can go even farther. Anything you donate will be matched 6 times. Just visit goredforwomen.org. Let's talk sports. Lindsey Vonn, she completed a clean downhill training without issue this morning. This clears another hurdle ahead of Sunday's medal race. Remember, Vaughn was hurt in Switzerland 1 week ago. She had to be airlifted to the hospital. That's when she revealed she completely ruptured her ACL and suffered a deep bone bruise. But she says she's still determined to compete, and the women's downhill on Sunday definitely must-see TV. I'm excited to watch it. A little more NBA news for you today. Remember, the Wolves traded Mike Conley earlier this week. He's actually expected to be back now. Here's how it happened. It's thanks to a weird NBA rule. So the Wolves traded him to Chicago a few days ago, mainly for cap space. His role with the team has diminished, but he's still a locker room leader. So once the Bulls got him, they traded him to Charlotte, who then waived Conley, putting him back on the market. Because Conley was traded for a second time after being waived, he is eligible to return to the Wolves. Now, it will be on a much lesser contract. Did you get all that?
It's time to take a breath with your Daily Bright Spot.
Okay, enough jumble with the words. Let's get to a new study that suggests babies are born with a natural sense of rhythm. I certainly wasn't. But researchers in Italy played piano songs for sleeping newborns, and they measure their brain waves. The baby's brain waves showed signs of surprise when the rhythm of the songs unexpectedly changed. Previous research has shown even in the womb, babies respond to music. I would not have guessed that. Again, my rhythm is lacking. Don't think my parents were playing much music with me. I'm Johnny Connor. This has been 4 Things to Know. Thanks for joining us this week. If you're new to us, we're here with the weekday news you need every weekday afternoon by 3 o'clock. Thanks for listening today. Have a great weekend. Let's go Seahawks and Sam Darnold.
Listen to 4 Things to Know, a WCCO daily news podcast, wherever you get your podcasts.